In 2024, I worked with over 300 plus business owners, ranging from 10K a month to over 100 mil a year. And what I did was I helped them generate more leads than they know what to do with in many, many examples across industries like B2B services, finance, legal consulting, insurance, healthcare, biotechnology, baseball coaching, and pretty much everything that can be sold online. And this video is going to cover the only funnels you need to win in 2025 and get as many high ticket clients as you could ever want. So you can finally lock in on one strategy and move in one direction, including number one, why these funnels are so important. Number two, what you'll need to implement them. Number three, how to make sure you succeed when using the strategies I'm about to share. So first off, let me give you some context. You want to know the reality of running a business. You're never going to finish your to-do list. You'll work as hard as you can, then wish you worked harder. And even when you're winning, there are 3 million things you could focus on at any given time. Meaning your job becomes figuring out which action will drive the biggest impact with the least amount of effort and resources. So instead of looking around for another shiny object to add to your strategy for 2025, try and lock in and just focus on what I'm about to share. Nothing is going to bring you a higher ROI. So first off, the first ad funnel is one of the best and the most tried and tested ad funnels of all time. It's called the lead magnet ad funnel. This is where you're running an ad to a landing page, which essentially has some kind of free giveaway in exchange for someone's contact info. Then you're sending them to some sort of thank you page, which is going to push them to a conversion mechanism. That might be a webinar, a sales call, whatever. Then you're basically following up with things like retargeting ads, email automation, SMS, sales assets, and sales team reach outs. Essentially what you're seeing here is number one, you're just running an ad to an opt-in page with a thank you page, and then you have the rest of the funnel to support that, being your email flows, appointment setters, other ads, and sales assets. So what you're looking at is basically just the 101 of how people become leads. So you are trading your lead magnet for their contact information. It's just going to be some sort of free value, some sort of guide, checklist, video, book, and basically they're giving you their email. The reason that we use this is because life without a lead magnet gets very difficult. Doesn't really make sense for someone to give you their contact information if there's not a lead magnet. Something I see, for example, is if you're trying to get someone to opt in for a video sales letter, which is essentially a pitch, you're basically getting someone to opt in just to be pitched. So that is much less attractive, as you can imagine, than giving someone basically some sort of bonus or some sort of guide for the contact information. Because when you do, people are much more willing to do it, and it becomes much cheaper to access these people's contact information when you give them something that's really, really sexy. So the reason that you use this is because it makes it 100 times more likely that someone's going to give you their contact information. If someone doesn't know you, if they don't trust you, and they don't like you, it makes no sense that they'd give you their email address. It wouldn't even make sense to do so. But what you're seeing here is that lead magnets are like bait for potential clients. The better the bait, the more leads you are going to attract, and the easier you're going to attract them. And moreover, the easier that they're going to be baited in. They're going to be, if you give them some really, really sexy bait, they're not only going to be hooked, but they're going to be hooked for more as well. Ideally, your core services. So an example of this is when a drug dealer gives away the first hit for free. And the best example of this is when Heisenberg does this in Breaking Bad, because obviously he gives the first hit away for free. And then I think Tuco Salamanca is his name, he gets that first hit and he's like, holy shit, this is the best blue meth I've ever tasted in my life. I need to buy from you. I need to work with you. And it basically reverses all the bad will that happened before. So you can see, if you give away some really, really good stuff, people are going to keep coming back. And it's a really good example. So another one that's more potentially relevant to like a B2B agency context is if you're doing Facebook ads for e-commerce, let's say that's your service, give away a stack of 100 static ad templates. This is going to attract anyone who runs ads, including e-commerce brands. So then what you can do is you can give away the free thing. If they're really, really good, they're going to be like, holy moly, these guys absolutely crush with ads. And then you can basically just sell the done for you implementation of those templates to a percentage of those downloaders. The context here is that if your static ad templates suck, not only are you not going to be able to upsell them, but you're also going to get a lot of hate from the people that download it, because they're going to say, this sucks. I don't want to work with you. This is just another lead magnet's just shit, and it's not going to work, and the entire process is going to break. But if you can do something that's really, really valuable, it makes a massive difference. An example of this will be Alex Hormozi. Alex Hormozi gives away his book. Everyone loves it. And then all of a sudden his portfolio grows by like 1,000,000% over 3 years. Massive difference between number one, giving away some shitty templates, and number two, giving away something that is genuinely insanely valuable. I.e., if you're giving away the best meth of all time, obviously don't go ahead and sell meth, but let's say you're giving away the best meth of all time, it's going to be much more effective than just giving away some milky street meth. I don't know. And essentially what this allows you to do is build a huge email list over time with potential customers and sell more and more over time. And the reason that this is better than other options, I'll give you an example from real life. This is in the last 30 days, not some BS from 6 years ago either. So you can see a literal live ad account here. You can see down here about 4K spent on ads, and you can see that generated 1,662 leads at at $2.47 per lead. So the real world stats are you spend 4K, generate 1,600 leads, book 34 calls from the thank you page at $120 cost per call, and that leaves you with 1,628 leads to retarget, follow up with, email, SMS, downsell, etc. So you can see here, $120 cost per call is pretty good. You know, if you can book calls for $120, you're pretty happy with it. But the real benefit is that you're generating all of these calls and then also giving yourself the opportunity to remarket to these people afterwards with different offerings. And that is why it's so powerful. For context, this offering is $16,000 to $32,000 from the example. So 16 to 32K up front. And you can imagine not all these leads are going to be in market for that, number one, and not all these leads are going to be qualified for that, number two. So we generate all these leads, get the goodwill with 1,600 people, then a percentage of those are in market and they'll just be the ones that book a call. That's perfect. That's great. That's going to liquidate our costs on the front end by closing some of these deals. Then over time, we're just basically buying these eyeballs from these people, again, retargeting them, following up with them, emailing them, SMS, etc. So what happens here? Number one, you get a low cost per call. Number two, opportunities to liquidate your spend with downsells. So what does that mean? Basically, that means that from this 1,662 person lead list that we've just generated, obviously 34 of those are going to book calls directly on the thank you page. That's going to be the people that are in market. However, we also have 1,628 people that are not in market. So that's going to be people that, number one, they might not be ready to buy, or number two, they might not even be qualified for the main service. But what we can do is we can send them to digital products, we can send them to courses, we can send them to coaching programs, we can send them to affiliate products, etc., etc. And we could easily recoup $4,000 of this spend from the 1,600 leads that we initially generated that weren't even the ones that we were targeting. And the benefit of this is that, let's say you sold 100 digital products here for $100 each. Maybe you sold one course and maybe you sold one coaching program and generated 5K from the rest of the leads. That means that the 34 calls that you booked that were qualified, that were in market, that were your most ideal customers end up coming through at essentially zero cost. So your main core offering can be sold at really, really low cost per acquisitions. Number three here is that it builds your brand in the market. So like I said, when you give away a free lead magnet, it's free, it's valuable, it's really, really good. People aren't going to call you some sort of scammer for giving away super valuable free stuff. As an example, Hormozi really used the free stuff to build his value in the market, build his authority. And you can do the exact same thing. So when you're giving away something for free, it always looks good. It's essentially just buying eyeballs as well. So again, you can end up converting the people that are in market, but then the people that aren't in market will just be on your email list. They'll just be nurtured by you forever, and they'll just stay in the funnel. So in terms of what makes it better than other options, number one is that instead of pitching to freezing cold leads, you give value up front. So it's really, really easy to get leads. You don't need to basically appeal to people that are directly in market. You can get access and provide value to the entire market at once, and then basically just convert the people that are in market. The second thing is that it's free. So it's all just getting a ton of interest. Like you're just getting eyeballs on you. You're just getting people to know who you are, and then they convert over time. And if you give something away that's great, people in your market will start loving you, and you'll find that people that aren't even your ideal customers will start giving you referrals. It's pretty ridiculous, but even people that are just, at like 10K a month will start giving referrals to 7 or 8 figure agencies just because they know who they are. And then when someone posts, maybe, do you know any agencies that do TikTok? Do you know anyone that provides X service? The people in the comments will be people that read your lead magnets. And then again, once a bunch of your ideal clients know who you are, once they kind of like your stuff, once they've seen you, once they've read, once they've watched your YouTube videos, a percentage of them will just naturally work with you. Because again, one of the biggest problems that agencies and B2B businesses and all types of businesses end up having is that no one knows who they are, no one knows their offering. So just by virtue of buying so many eyeballs and not having to waste your money while doing it, you expand your presence in the market, and eventually you get access to all these random deals that just fall from the sky. So that is basically a result of attracting the entire market and then being able to downsell and liquidate your spend and do affiliates and have digital products, etc. That eventually just mean that you can spend so much money on advertising that so many people know who you are that you eventually just get so many deals. So what I typically see is that I'll have a client, they'll run ads, lead magnet ads for months and months and months. And then after about the 6th month, they'll just say, yeah, I don't know, like I was literally on a call just before and someone said they found us from Google. We don't even do any SEO or anything. It's just that we run ads, people look us up, people go on our website, people read our stuff, people are on an email list, and their presence just becomes so much larger, for example, than someone that just does no advertising that relies on referrals. So it becomes a very different game, very, very different game. And what that does is it becomes hyper profitable, even if you're targeting the high end of the market. So let's say you only sell to brands or you only sell to companies that are above 8 figures in revenue. If you can spend so much that every company in your market knows who you are, that is just going to mean that you're going to become the go-to guy for those services. So like I said, as an example, why you need this is because when you go for a regular no-brainer offer, something like, hey, do you guys want $1 million and my left kidney, or you don't pay, everyone is just going to say, nah, I'm good, nah, I'm good, nah, I'm good. How did you get my email, etc. Maybe 1 or 2 people or a small percentage of people say yes because they are in market directly, compared to a front end offer or a lead magnet. In this case, it's like, hey, do you guys want hyper valuable thing that is low risk and prevents massive pain that's free? People are going to say yes, 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 yes. Maybe one person's going to say piss off because they're just annoyed. That does still happen. But a lot of people will either immediately convert or appreciate the free value, which really is just a net positive in the long run. But what happens is you get a ton of eyeballs, you get a ton of goodwill, and you get a ton of clients, which is very valuable for us if we're trying to sell stuff. You might be thinking, how does this actually play out in reality? I'll give you a very in-depth example. So you'll see here we have products, services, programs, and partnerships. A percentage of the market is going to convert for each of these at any given time. As an example, some of the market are just never going to buy a done-for-you service. That's just a thing. Some people just prefer doing it themselves. Maybe they have a friend who already does your service. Maybe they already have a really good service provider in your service. So they're just not going to buy it. So what that means is a certain type of product or service is going to appeal to a certain type of the market. When you run these types of ads, you need to keep in mind that you're just attracting anyone with these lead magnet ads. And what you need to do is have different products and services available to each of the types of leads that you will end up generating. And the reason for that is because let's just say you only have done for you services right here. You're going to convert about 3% of the market, converting about 0.18, estimating about 185 conversions from 100,000 leads with an LTV of 4K. That equals 800K in revenue and 200K in profit. If you only had that as your service while running lead magnet ads, it's not going to be that profitable because your CAC is going to be pretty high, obviously your profit margin, things to keep in mind. But then when you add a digital product into that equation, all of a sudden that's $200,000 in profit that gets added from the leads that you already bought. So it's the same number of leads, but each one of these kind of rungs to the ladder or rungs to the value ladder that you add, it just adds more and more profit with the conversion rate. And these are numbers that are real as well. This is based on just tons of data and how reflective they are in the market. When you ask something like, why do I need multiple offers? It sounds like a lot of work. The thing is that when you're running this type of funnel, it becomes insanely profitable to have downsells because what happens is you accidentally attract your entire target market and anyone interested in your topic, whether that's Facebook ads, email marketing, investment services, finance, it doesn't matter. All the people in your entire market will get attracted to your service via your lead magnet. So if you sell them something, essentially what happens is you're already getting leads for free. Because if you sell to the entire market, it sounds like one of those things where people say, don't sell to the entire market. But really what's happening is you're building your email list, you're building your lead list around a problem, and people that have that problem will come through. So when people that have that problem come through, they're going to go to someone to solve that problem, whether they're a qualified brand, whether they're a qualified client, whether they're a qualified investor, whatever, it doesn't matter. It is going to be appealing to people that have that problem. So they just need to be solved, like they want it solved. So whether they're the type of person that's going to buy a product, course, program, done for you service, doesn't matter. Having these different strategic offers becomes insanely profitable because that's where all the actual cash comes from when it goes in your pocket, because it's much more profitable, as you can see, to get a digital product here than a done for you service, especially when you just have nothing there. So let's say you generate 100,000 leads and all you do is have a done for you service. You don't have a program, you don't have partnerships, you don't have digital products. It ends up that you're leaving essentially 600 grand in profit on the table. So after you start doing this, obviously start off, just do your done for you services. It's going to still be profitable. But over time, it becomes a no-brainer to bring in something as a downsell. What happens is, like I said, it reduces your cost, makes your core offer, AKA the main thing you sell, much more profitable. So what does it look like? The ads, essentially what you want to start with is a Notepad app ad. This is really, really strong in terms of just getting cheap clicks. It's really easy to test. You can make these in 10 seconds. Literally all you need to do, go into your phone, open the Notes app, make a headline, add in 3-4 dot points, download now, 100% free, copy these, this format. All you want to do is sell some kind of result in the headline and just give it away. These ads typically perform really, really well. In terms of the landing page, all you need is something really, really simple. Sell a result in the headline, give some social proof up there at the top, add in a little note here about why it's so valuable, make it really a no-brainer, and then just only take the email. This will get you $1 leads. If you have these ads and this landing page with the right messaging, you will get $1 leads, you will get $2 leads, you'll get $3 leads, you'll get really, really cheap leads. And the reason for that is because the cost per click with the right messaging can be as low as like 20 cents per click, up to 50 cents, dollar, anyway, really cheap. And these pages, when combined with the right messaging, will convert at 50, 60%. So if you're not getting those results, you need to change it. In terms of the rest of the funnel, like I said before, you want to have things like retargeting ads, you want to have email automations, you want to have SMS, you want to have sales assets, and you want your sales team to be reaching out as well. When you put this thing on steroids, if you follow the channel, you'll know exactly what we do. We have a ton of stuff that you can have available in terms of having paid ads, content, outreach, partnerships, and really pouring fuel on the fire in terms of the lead magnet ad funnel. If you're just starting out, I would focus on this. But once you start getting up and running with things like content, outreach, partnerships, you have all these different conversion mechanisms down here. It looks really complex, but there are a ton of people that I've personally talked to that make 7-8 figures online. And they look at this and they just say, holy shit, this is the best thing I've ever seen, because it just lays out perfectly everything that you need to do to generate leads. This is every single thing that you'll ever need to have in your lead generation funnel. Problem with that is that with the lead magnet funnel, a lot of times you drive a ton of top of funnel into the business, meaning you're getting a lot of leads, you're growing your email list, people are starting to know who you are, and that's great. But you also need something more direct that's going to just book calls straight away. So if you're not necessarily able to float a certain amount of cash to run leads, to lead magnets, and maybe you don't have the rest of the funnel, maybe you don't have email flows, you don't have any of that stuff, and you don't have time, that is where the second funnel comes in. That is where we have the VSL application. This is one of the single best funnels of all time. I don't know if there is a funnel that has generated more income as in general for online businesses. And literally the reason for that is because it's so simple. So if you think the lead magnet funnel is too complex, if you say, I don't want to do all that work, just set this up. As you can see, literally headline, button, video, proof, apply here. That's it. Nothing else too crazy. So what we're going to cover is why they work so well, how to build it, how to make it work, and how to manage and scale them. So in terms of building the funnel, number 1, make sure the offer is clear. Number 2, create a VSL. Number 3, create an application page. Number 4, create a thank you page. Number 5, create a pre-call flow. Number 6, write and record the ads. Number 7, run the ads. So in terms of the offer, what you can do is, I'm not going to cover all of it in this video. What I would do is check the channel, go and search the word offer, and go and watch these videos after I'm finished with this. You're going to see the only type of offer you need, the best type of offer, and the one mistake that's killing your offer. We've got guides in depth going into that topic. In terms of the VSL, same thing. So what you can do is after this video, just go and watch the VSL framework that booked 100 plus calls for an agency. We tested about 20 VSLs for this specific client. And eventually what happened was we just cracked it on cold traffic. And this specific funnel has been booking hundreds of calls for like 12 months straight. I'm telling you, it's an absolute banger. Just go watch this video after I'm done here, and that will set your VSL up perfectly. In terms of the application page that you're going to need to have, all you need to do is, again, headline, maybe a little bit of text here, a button, and a VSL. That's all you need. Then you're going to redirect them to a thank you page. Here's an example. It's just going to say, thanks, check your inbox for confirmation. Check out the information below. It's going to be a case study. Then you're going to want to set up your pre-call flow. So again, you're going to want to set this up step by step. You want to get your offer. You want to get your pages in line. And you're just going to do this. Like literally, you're going to get video 1, the offer video. Go watch that. Go watch the second video, go watch the third video. And then when you get to the pre-call flow, go and watch this video from my partner, Matt Larson, on 1000x Leads. That is basically going to show you how to set up your pre-call flow. Really, really easy. Then at the time that you get to writing and recording ads, you want to make 2 body sections of the ads, which is the offer and the main kind of process, and then film 10 3 to 5 second hooks, and then edit the hook onto each body. From there, you have 20 ads to test. Very, very simple. So the structure is essentially your 3 to 5 hooks and your audience call out. Then you're going to want to have a direct offer. So put the hook in, put the audience that you're targeting in, then have a direct offer. It might be something like, hey, if you're an e-com brand looking to get result in 2025, this is for you. We will get you XYZ. We'll get you better email revenue. We'll get you better XYZ. Then you want to add the proof, and then you'll say something like, the reason we can make such an audacious claim like this is because of case study, case study, case study. Then you'll explain the offer, saying something like, the way that we do this is step 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then you'll do a first CTA. So we say, if that sounds interesting, book a call below or tap the link and book a call. Then what you want to do is circle back and reduce the risk and tell them why it's a no-brainer. So what you'll say is, something to the tune of, the call is completely free. What we're going to do is we're going to go into your account, give us analyst access. We're not going to change anything. What we're going to do is we're just going to see if there's potential for you to grow. If there's something that we see that we think we can improve, we'll let you know and we'll invite you to work with us. However, there's absolutely no risk on this call. The worst thing that can happen is we're just going to give you some pointers on what you can potentially improve. So grab a time below. So what you see there is it was one CTA, it was a risk reduction, and then it was another CTA after that. So it's essentially a loop, the same way that Jordan Belfort would do when he's doing the straight line persuasion. So in terms of why these funnels work so well, what you can see here is that there's a couple of scenarios. Let's say your cost per call is $100, $250, or $500, and you're spending 20 grand on ads. Scenario 1, you're going to generate 200 applications, 200 book calls. Let's say they're booking straight onto your calendar, so the lead to booking rate is a little bit irrelevant, but you're going to have 132 shown calls. And let's say you're closing 30%, that's 40 extra deals. That's a ridiculous amount of deals if you're running an agency, but let's say you're running a coaching program or something like that, it would make sense to basically look for that kind of volume, especially if you're charging 10K up front. That's going to lead to a huge ROAS. Obviously, the thing that you want to keep in mind here is that everything looks good in a spreadsheet. If my spreadsheet numbers were the numbers that I hit in every single campaign, I'd be Elon Musk right now. However, let's go to the absolute worst case scenario. So let's say you're booking calls for literally $500, which is 5x what's possible. I could show you plenty of ad accounts that book calls for $100, but let's say it's $500. That means off 20 grand in spend, you're going to book 40 calls. I'd hope that if you're going to spend $500 a call, they're quite qualified. So as a result, 40 calls, 26 of them end up showing up and you close 7 deals. So you've spent 20 grand. Let's say you collect 5 to 10 grand. That's going to lead to 70 grand. So essentially, the reason that these work so well is because it's just a mathematical equation. You want to focus on your cost per call, your show rate, your close rate, your cash collected up front, and your LTGP. For example, the reason that you want to focus on your cash collected up front is because if you're running some kind of MRR business, let's look over here. Let's say you spend 20 grand on ads, but you only collect $2,000 up front from your clients. Maybe you have a $10,000 LTV. So in the first month, you spend 20 grand. Yes, that's good. And you've accrued $70,000 in LTV. So you're thinking I'm at a 3x ROAS. But if you're not collecting that money up front, you're going to really be prevented in the way that you're going to scale. So you've spent 20 grand, you've only collected 14 grand up front, which means that you're only going to be breaking even on the second month. Now, that's not the worst thing in the world, but if your cash collected is lower, that's a really good way to go broke and kind of enter a death spiral. So that's just something you want to track. Something really smart that I've seen before was, I think it was Hormozi said it, but if you can make your front end cash collected, meaning the amount of cash you collect in the first 30 days, if you can make that number twice your CAC, so you can 2x your CAC in cash collected. So let's say over here, you're closing a client and your total cost to acquire a customer, including your ad spend, your sales call, commission, etc. Let's say your CAC is $1,000. If you can collect 2 grand up front, that's basically good to go. Let's scale ads. But if you don't have the money, because let's say you only collect $2,000 and you've spent $20,000 and signed 7 clients, total of 14K cash collected, that's a little bit of a red flag because you would want to basically make sure that you're collecting money up front before you start scaling that campaign. Because again, literally happened with a client the other day where they said, yeah, we make so much money off our clients. Our CAC to LTV is really, really good. Our ads look really good. We get a huge ROAS, but the problem is that I only start making money from the client, like actual profit, after week or after month 2 or something. And I said, what you need to do in that scenario is basically craft an offer to collect more money up front and then wrap the LTV on the back end. Or number 2 is that you can give them an incentive to pay in full up front. Because let's say you have a 16-week program and the client's paying week by week. I think this guy was a PT. What you can do is you can say, we'll give you a 20% discount if you pay upfront, and basically give them a bunch of bonuses. So what that means is the likelihood that you're going to collect cash upfront is much higher, so you can scale your campaign. So that's good for you, and the client ends up getting a discount, so that's good for them, and they're happy. So again, just need to make this work with the actual maths. Then what you do is you basically take a constraints-based approach. So realistically, like I said, if all our ads looked like they looked in a spreadsheet, we'd probably be Elon Musk by now. So what really happens in reality is your ads are going to stop working, your funnel's going to stop converting, your show rate's going to drop, your sales team's not going to close, the leads are going to ghost you and get wasted. And what you do is when the relevant KPI arises, when there's a problem, you just solve for that KPI. So it might be click-through rate, your ads might suck, your opt-in rate might suck, your cost per call might be bad, your lead to booking rate might be bad, your show rate might fall off, your close rate might fall off, your sales cycle length might suck as well. And what you want to do is you want to create SOPs for each of these things. So for example, cost per call. This just means how much you are spending on ads to get someone to schedule on your calendar. So what you do here is you just monitor this. So for example, this initial launch at $850 per call would indicate this is really bad. We're not going to make money off this. Keep in mind, this ad account is in Australian dollars, but that is a really bad campaign. So what you want to do is you want to turn that off and craft some tests. So what you want to do is you want to ask yourself, what is every possible action I could take to optimize my cost per call? And what you would find is that to lower your cost per call, you might want to make some ads that have a lower cost per click. You might need new hooks. You might need new edits. You might need ads that have better messaging that attracts more of your ideal customers versus tire kickers. You might need to add more proof to the funnel. You might need a VSL that's going to convert more of your site visitors. You might need to test new creatives to avoid ad fatigue. You might need to get new ad targeting and get to put your ads in front of different people. You might need to increase your show rate using retargeting ads or email marketing or SMS or personalized reach outs. So what you're looking at is when there's a problem, there's a list of actions that you can potentially take to fix that problem and unlock that revenue. So what we do is, personally, we use in-house systems for each KPI, like new ads, new lead forms, new SOPs, new systems. So what you find is that there's going to be stuff constraining you. You need to fix that. But if nothing's constraining you, just scale the campaign until it breaks and rinse and repeat. You're going to scale it. It's going to break. You're going to have to do stuff. You're going to have to take actions, get new creatives, get new hooks. But the key here is that at any given moment, you are only taking the actions that are actually going to lead to increased revenue. And that is why the funnel is so good, because it's so simple. There's just a couple of KPIs you have to dial in. So for example, you look at it rigorously. Are my ads converting to booked calls? Are they converting to clicks? Yes. Okay. Are my clicks converting to booked calls? Yes. Are my booked calls converting to showed calls? Yes. Okay, cool. Are my showed calls turning into closed calls? Yes or no? And then you're just implementing processes at each step and rinsing and repeating. So if you run the lead magnet funnel and the application funnel, both of them effectively become super, super profitable because they complement each other. So you're driving top of funnel, you're driving trust, you're driving people that know who you are, and then you're coming in with the application funnel and basically converting those leads with direct response. Try them both. Let me know how it goes. If you need more hands-on help, go to 1000xleads.com for live coaching calls, every system you'll ever need to hit 7 or 8 figures, and one-to-one support. If you want me to set all this up for you, then you can apply at the link below as well. Otherwise, it's been great having you here on the channel. I post a ton of different videos just like this one, and I recommend that you start watching those videos I mentioned earlier. What I'll do is I'll link them in the description down below just so you have them all in one place. Other than that, have a great rest of your day. Subscribe, like, comment, let me know. Have any questions? Talk soon.